Kristi Noem joins us now to talk about the impasse. Governor, good to have you with us. You've had plenty of critics who thought you should have taken a firmer hand, a shutdown, a lockdown there in South Dakota.
Overwhelmingly, the people of South Dakota knew that I trusted them to make the right decisions, that I gave them strong guidance on what they could do to protect their families in this pandemic, and that we were taking it very seriously. And I think so far we've done incredibly well. We did not mandate that any businesses close. We gave our employers an opportunity to protect their employees and their customers and still make sure that they were putting food on the table. Yet also we have probably the lowest death rate per positive case in the nation. We also have the least amount of job losses when it comes to our workforces.
And I want to remind you all of this because while we were working together and we were preparing as a state, many other states were taking a very different approach. Some ordered their citizens to shelter in place, ordered their businesses to lock down, and ordered their churches to close. The mainstream media told us that these steps had to be taken to slow down the spread of the virus. And day after day, night after night, they insisted that every single decision I was making was wrong, that I was foolish to trust my people. They told me I should shut my state down. Now, as all of you might imagine, these last 7 months at times can get a little bit lonely. But earlier this week, one very prominent reporter on the national level sent me a note that said, "Governor, if you hadn't stood against the lockdowns, we'd have no proof of just how useless they really have been." But I also want you to understand that in the last 6 months, it has amazed me to watch fear control people. That this pandemic really used emotion and fear to manipulate people in ways that we've never seen before. Perhaps the most significant one of those lessons that we've learned is that more freedom and not more government is the answer. Now, while freedom isn't necessarily the one thing that will solve all of our problems, it will certainly take us down the road much farther towards where we want to go. Freedom is a much better friend to true science than government-centered or government-controlled science. Freedom, not government, is the best friend of innovation. Freedom focuses on politics of persuasion and the intellectual strength of all of our positions, not on control, coercion, and the heavy hand of government. My approach to this virus was to provide South Dakotans with all of the information that I had available to me and to then allow them to exercise their freedom to make the best decisions for themselves and for their families. We took a unique path. We did not lock people up. We did not close any businesses in the state of South Dakota. Not once did we issue a shelter in place. I didn't even define what an essential business was because I don't believe that I have the authority to tell you your business isn't essential.
Dakota Governor Noem resisted calls to lock down her state and understood the importance of balancing the risk of the virus with the major risks of destroying the livelihoods of poor and working families.
Now, in South Dakota, I provided all of the information that we had to our people, and then I trusted them to make the best decisions for themselves, for their families, and in turn, their communities. We never focused on the case numbers. Instead, we kept our eye on hospital capacity. The people themselves are primarily responsible for their own health and their well-being. They are the ones who, entrusted with expansive freedoms, the free will to exercise their rights to work, worship, and to earn a living. Now, most governors shut down their states. What followed was record unemployment, businesses closed, most schools were shuttered, and communities suffered. And the U.S. economy came to an immediate halt. Now, let me be clear. COVID didn't crush the economy. Government crushed the economy.